Pleasant Grove football with Gary Cherry and Coach Johnny Toombs. Brought to you by Athletic Supply, Davis Shoes, Luther Bells, Jimmy Cobb Insurance, Texarkana Athletic Club, Regency House, McGuire Sound, Photomation, Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Orr Chevrolet, Texarkana Immediate Care, Raffaelli Realty, Hunter Power Saw, American National Bank, White's Glenwood House, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, Hopkins Economart, Teachers Credit Union, Daily Fence Company, Ramblin' Rose Florist, and Mackenzie Wiltshire Homes Incorporated.
Welcome to Pleasant Grove Hawk football with athletic director and head football coach Johnny Toombs. Last Friday night opened the 1986 season for Pleasant Grove, a very big victory for the 1986 opener with a 30-0 win over the Maud Cardinals. Johnny, a big opening game for Pleasant Grove.
Well, it was a great win for the Hawks. We got to do a lot of things that we needed to look at, and we got to see a lot of players, and the Hawks were really fired up and played a very good opening ball game against Maud.
There were 5 touchdowns scored in a ball game for Pleasant Grove, 4 by way of the rush, 1 by passing. Pretty good offensive show.
We had good balance offensively, and of course the defense got the big shutout that we'd set a goal for. It was our biggest margin of victory, of course, in the 3 years, and it was one that we really enjoyed and needed at this time of the year.
Another first for Pleasant Grove at their 3rd year as a high school, their first shutout as a football team.
First shutout, defensive coordinator Jerry Fawcett and the defensive squad talked about that all week long. That was something they really wanted. We did have a lot of respect for Maud, but wanted to get the shutout and score some points, which we did.
We've got a big first half of action coming your way in just a few moments, but first we're going to have a few of the 1986 Pleasant Grove football players coming your way.
You know, giving yourself a gift for the home sure makes a lot of sense these days, especially when you have to watch your budget like Deborah and I do. It's really the only practical thing to do at Christmas time. Our new dining group is already here for us to enjoy now, through the holidays, and for years to come.
So when you want more than just a furniture store, it's White's Glenwood House.
National Bank is your full-service bank. For your convenience, our drive-through windows open from 7:30 to 6 weekdays and 9 till noon on Saturdays. As the financial leader in Northwest Texarkana, American National Bank offers interest-bearing checking accounts, money market accounts, IRAs, CDs, and will assist you for your mortgage loan, automobile, personal, or commercial loan. Deposit or withdraw at your convenience with Max 24. American National Bank, 2301 Richmond Road, member FDIC.
The 1986 football Pleasant Grove Hawks opened their first game of the year, Johnny, and certainly for a night that was rather rainy, but a very good crowd on hand.
Well, it rained all week. In fact, the Hawks only got on the practice field twice all week. Rain didn't fall during the actual playing of the game, and there was a good crowd on hand considering the weather. And as you can see, the Hawks, I believe, were as ready for this ball game as any game we've played in recent years. Brian Baker does a good job kicking the football off deep, and I believe Paul Ubry was in on that opening tackle, a young sophomore linebacker, and the Hawks make Maud start on, I believe, their own 27-yard line.
Good pursuit on the kickoff. Of course, Maud with the ball, first play of the game. And again, good pursuit by the defense.
Right, Steve Cullen makes that tackle. Our defensive kids are playing awfully hard. Jimmy Townsend and Gary Early, the two techniques, defensive tackles, Ed Zid, Mike Kyles, the ends. And you can see that the Hawks are very fired up early. The enthusiasm was not there in our first scrimmage game, and we finally got that started before the game was over against Redwater in our scrimmage, and it's carried on over in this first ball game.
Playing condition on the field looks pretty good for a game that it rained most of all Friday.
I tell you, Webb Satterfield takes care of the field. He's our maintenance director, and the field's in the best shape that he's ever been in, at least as long as I've been at Pleasant Grove. And the weather has not helped it any of the last few weeks, but it was a little slippery, but the turf held up real well. This is Tony Wilshire returning Maud's kick, and we're going to take the ball and just try to use our muscle advantage over Maud and cram it down their throats, and we are able to move on down the field for a score. This is Tony on the off-tackle play, good run, Chad Davis out front blocking. See Tony pulling people with him there to get the first down.
A lot of determination by Tony Wilshire. Todd Hiron, another youngster that's just a junior this year, Johnny.
Todd is one of the very few juniors. Our offense is pretty well senior laden, but he's running behind good blocks there from center Bill Stone and our two guards, Craig Schultz and Jerry Moody. Tackles Jimmy Townsend and Mike Young, and as you can see, we're moving the ball down the field rather well. David Oliver on the quarterback sneak gets the first down close to the goal line. Tony makes a great run here. He gets cut off and spins away from the blocker. And watch number 14, the quarterback, David Oliver from the right. You didn't get to see his block, but he made the block to clear Tony to get in the end zone for the first touchdown of the year.
Tony Wilshire, a 9-yard run for Pleasant Grove, 6-0, opening minutes of the first quarter.
David Fawcett on the extra point attempt. We didn't get the ball on the tee, and that really wasn't David's fault. We didn't have a very good night as far as point afters are concerned, and that's going to cause us some problems if we don't correct that. But we do have the 6-0 lead, and that's a lot better than last year, if you remember, where they jumped out ahead 14-0. Maud comes out they run from the dead tee, and I think that's supposed to have been a halfback pass, and a good job by the defense. And they throw the ball away, and they have to punt the football again, and Tony bobbles this kick and is able to get on it and recover it. And we set up shop on about the 35-yard line, I believe, and Todd Hiron on the first play behind some excellent blocking breaks loose and goes the distance. And this is, I guess, one of our longer runs the past 3 years, a big touchdown for the Hawks.
Todd Hiron on a 62-yard run, Johnny. That's very impressive for this young junior.
We run the option here. David executes it very well, possibly should have kept the ball, and Scott Eichhorn on tremendous effort got in the end zone, but his knee touched down first, so we didn't convert the two-pointer. It's 12-0. And Brian Baker again gets the ball back to the 10-yard line. We have good kick coverage, and Maud starts inside the 25.
Again, defense pursuing awful strong, and there's a lot of anxiety out there on the defense.
Well, linebackers Trace Warren and Todd Hiron and Craig Schultz, and the strong safety David Fawcett, and the defensive secondary of Van Marr, Steve Cullen, and John Simpson do an excellent job. John Hodges is in on kicks now, and he fair catches the ball this time. We try to throw a play-action pass, and David slipped a little bit when he threw it, and the Maud youngster intercepted. This is the last play of the quarter. It's a good play there by defensive end. I believe Chad Davis is in at this time. We were able to see a lot of youngsters on both sides of the football. We dressed out 64 people, and I believe every junior everyone that was a junior or higher classification played, and everyone, of course, on the varsity played. We fumbled the ball here. This was one of our mistakes on our kicking game, and Maud gets pretty good field position, Gary, but big play by Mike Kiles there throws them for a loss, and we're able to hold Maud as Gary Early recovers this fumble for us.
Well, a night like this with conditions, you're going to have the ball on the ground quite a bit.
And we were pleased fairly well with our execution. We fumbled the ball one time, our second or third offense fumbled, and we fumbled the kick there. This is Wilshire behind great blast blocking. I don't know if that was Warren or Warren and Trace Warren, Todd Hiron, Scott Eichhorn, John Hodges did a super job blocking up front on the blast. But those were the only 2 turnovers we had, that and the interception. And for a night like this, that wasn't bad. Another great kick by Brian Baker, and Maud starts on the 20-yard line. I believe the score is 18-0 now. The one disappointment we had in the first half, we got a little careless along this stretch and quit playing good defensive technique, and Maud was able to get 2 or 3 first downs and moved down fairly close, I think, to about the 30-yard line. Big hit there by Trace Warren. One of the officials told me after the game when 22 hit someone, you could almost hear the earth shake, and I don't doubt that.
A lot of hitting by the defense. They're just all over the ball. That's where you really get your defense to really play good.
Well, we believe in defense, and you know, our coaching staff, Coach Fawcett and Coach Mike Burks and Bill Niven and Bob Carter do a good job with the defense, and our kids believe in defense. And we were really thrilled that we were able to get that shutout. It's a good run here by Wilshire. It's called back on a clip. Craig Schultz out front trying to make a good block, and you can see from tackle to tackle we're really moving the ball well.
Here comes a pass play that goes 52 yards, Johnny, as far as a touchdown to Tony Wilshire. Watch this move here. That's very impressive. This young man looks to be major football material.
Well, Tony came in about 15 pounds heavier than last year, which slowed him down a little, I think, at first. That plus a bad case of shin splints, but Tony does a great job, and you know, the kids blocked well for Tony. David Fawcett threw a very good pass. Chad Davis was down there to screen him off. And of course, Chad didn't take a chance on blocking and getting the clip, and we're very proud of him for that. Here's another turnover, and I believe Gary Early got that one. This is right before the half. It's a 47-yard field goal attempt. We don't get the ball on the tee, and Brian kind of has to stop his steps, and still made a very good effort. And it's 24-0 at halftime.
Very impressive offensive show by the Pleasant Grove Hawks offense, and the defense were just all over the football.
We're very pleased at this stage of the season with their progress. We're very pleased with the results of the first half. If you remember there again last year, it was 18-14 at halftime, and we were fighting for our lives. So we're very pleased with the progress of the Hawks.
David Oliver and David Fawcett, you've got 2 quarterbacks working in there, and they look very impressive.
Well, I told both these youngsters they're giving me some gray hair and some sleepless nights, because I really would like for one of them to take over. I don't like to alternate quarterbacks, and we probably won't do that, but whoever has the hot hand will be in. David Oliver threw a very good pass last night for a long gainer, and then David Fawcett did too, so they're not making my job easy, but it's nice to have 2 good quarterbacks.
Tony Wilshire looked good, and so did Todd Hiron, your junior.
Todd Hiron ran well. Trace Warren ran well. Tony Wilshire had almost 100 yards rushing. The kids are bigger than they were last year. We have a lot of good, solid 180, 185-pound football players, and there's something about the chemistry of this ball club that we like, and the relationship they have with the coaching staff, and we feel good about the Hawks.
It's 24-0 at halftime, and we'll be back with the second half of action. But first, we're going to take a look at some more 1986 Pleasant Grove Hawk football players.
My jewelry means a lot to me. I think it says something about who I am and how I feel. All of my jewelry comes from Luther Bells in Texarkana. I know at Luther Bells I can get the quality I want at the most affordable price. And they take a personal interest. They know what I like and what I want. Whether it's a gift for someone or something special for me, I know it's the best quality for the price. I love my jewelry, and I think you'll love what you find at Luther Bells, where fine jewelry is affordable.
Daily Fence Company, serving Texarkana with quality in the board and chain fencing business, now offers cloth awnings at an unbelievable price. For patios, storefronts, even windows, enhance the beauty of your home or business with durable awnings. Regulate the warmth and brilliance of the sun with a wide variety of colors and styles to choose from. Call today. Free estimates or planning service. Satisfaction is guaranteed. Cloth awnings, now at Daily Fence Company. Call 838-7892.
Some real estate signs look like they could last for years. Without our home marketing system, they might have to. The Better Homes and Gardens home marketing system. It's the better way to sell your home.
Hi, this is Max Headroom's Pop Quiz. And what I want to know is, Swagger, where does the refreshing new phrase, catch the wave, come from? Pepsi! Obviously, Cocologists. Blindfold, please. Quicker next time. In blind taste tests, which pop drink did more people prefer? The new taste of Coke or Pepsi? Pepsi! Wrong. I love trick questions. Coke! Coke. The new taste of Coke. It's true. You heard it here first. Catch the wave. Coke.
Pleasant Grove has a 24-0 lead starting the third quarter, Johnny. Very impressive for the first half.
Well, it's a very comfortable feeling at this time. We told the youngsters at halftime we wanted to go out and act like the score was 0-0 and control the first part of the third quarter. Trace Warren returns the opening kickoff here. We were able to do that. We take the ball down and score, and then we're able to play a lot of youngsters at the, we started substituting late in the third quarter. Tony Wilshire here behind fine blocking by our offensive line. Coach David Pitts is our offensive line coach. He's done a very good job with the Hawks. Coach Ron Holly works with the wide receivers and tight ends, and both of these men have done a good job with our offensive scheme. It's Tony Wilshire again behind some good blocking by Todd Hiron and the rest of the offensive linemen up front. And this is a good throw and catch from David Oliver to Chad Davis. Chad stumbles and falls inside the 5. And then I believe on the next play, Tony Wilshire off tackle behind Craig Schultz blocked him for the final score of the night. We weren't concerned about the score of the ball game at this point. We wanted to accomplish some things, work on some things, and let some youngsters play. We have a lot of respect for Coach Frost and his staff at Maud. George does an excellent job with limited numbers, and he's going to be a factor in their conference this year.
Tony Wilshire, Johnny, it was his fourth touchdown run, or fourth touchdown of the night, 3 by running and 1 by way of the air.
I believe it was, and I think that's probably the last play that Tony is in the ball game. We let some other youngsters carry the ball, and you know, we have to be ready for the possibility of Tony not being in there, and we looked at 3 other kids carrying the ball. Van Morris won him a job returning punts last night. Van did an excellent job. This is John Simpson. The flags began to fall a little bit. We got a little sloppy as we put some different groups in to look at some different people, and the continuity and the rhythm on offense kind of fell off a little bit. Very good punt there by Kenny Davis. Good tackle here by Eric Monty. Eric's a senior that's been with us for 3 years and worked real hard and was a backup linebacker and did an excellent job. This is the first of Van's punt returns. He gets outside, and we have an excellent wall set up, and we just ran out of room on the sideline. Van almost broke that one. Van has a knack for carrying the football.
He accelerates once he gets the football. He can move real good.
He does, and Van's so small that, you know, sometimes we hate to run him inside, you know, on offense from the tailback position, but he has a knack in the open field for finding his blockers and running real well. We have Mark Hawkins in at a linebacker now, and it's going to be a lot of kicking in this second half because neither ball club was able to sustain much on offense. Todd Martin's quarterbacking now, and we bust an assignment on the pass attempt. This pass was to Skipper Hastings. Skipper ran a good pattern, wasn't able to hold on the ball, and Scott Eichhorn punts this time. And I think Scott punted this ball some 45, 50 yards. Good coverage there by Steve Cullen and Chad Davis. Big hit there by Mike Kiles, and I think Trace Warren probably in on that tackle.
Defense still pursuing strong.
Still playing aggressively. We feel like the things that we have to do to be a winning football team is, first of all, on defense, we have to play with good technique, and we've preached to the youngsters about this all year. And on offense, we have to execute. We had a clip on this, but just a great run. You see the black shirts getting out front. Van does a little move here and twist into the end zone. The official signal for the extra point, for the touchdown, but there was a clip on the play. And that was disappointing for us because we've never returned a touchdown, a punt for a touchdown, and we thought we had that one, but it was called back.
That's another first that Pleasant Grove will get here pretty soon, maybe.
I hope so. This is Fred Jones. Fred is about our fourth tailback. Fred is a junior and will possibly be seeing some JV action, but Fred ran the ball real well with the offense we had on the field. Stephen Frazier played some at center along with Gary Early, and the guards were Eric Monty, and Keith Fincher played quite a bit, and we had some youngsters that got some playing time.
I want to compliment your defensive coaching staff. They're still hitting out there with a 30-0 lead. Still playing aggressive football.
Our youngsters are still trying to find positions on the football team, and it's early in the season, and there's going to be some injuries, and we hope that we don't have any grade problems, and there's still competition, and we have a lot of youngsters that want to play. And I believe this is probably the last play of the game. We just had to get the ball off, and I'm sorry that was not. We have one more series from Maud here. This may be the last play. Youngster scrambles. David Fawcett makes a good open field tackle, and that's the ball game. The final was 30-0 in favor of the Hawks.
Very impressive opening win for 1986 for Pleasant Grove. Johnny, I know you're really proud of your players, and I think your coaching staff and yourself were prepared, and your players as well.
Well, we have some new coaches. We have 7 new coaches on our staff, and the players have responded very well to the coaching staff and vice versa. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. We were able to look at a lot of youngsters, get a lot of people in. We didn't do anything fancy on offense or defense, but everything worked well for us, and it was a lot of fun on the sideline last Friday night.
David Oliver passed a couple of times. He looked impressive with his passing, and so did Jerry Fawcett.
Well, David Oliver did throw the ball well, and David Fawcett did also. And as I mentioned, they're locked up in a battle, and it's going to be interesting from day to day. I don't want to put any extra pressure on the youngsters, and they understand the situation. It's just whoever has the hot hand is going to be our quarterback.
I wanted to mention that Tony Wiltshire had 16 carries for 98 yards last Friday night, and Todd Hiring, the junior, had 7 for 86. So that was very impressive.
Almost 200 yards. I think we had about 270 yards rushing. And we did it mostly, not much finesse. We just lined up and did use our strength and size advantage on Maud and just tried to run north and south and not have any turnovers, and it worked for this game plan this week.
We're going to take a look at next week's ball game, but first we're going to see the final 1986 football players for Pleasant Grove and also the coaching staff.
Or Chevrolet beats them all on the biggest selection of tough Chevy trucks in the Arklatex. Choose the remarkable Chevy S10 starting as low as $59.99 with only $99 down and 5.9% financing. Need a full-size truck? Chevy Custom Deluxe pickups in stock for only $89.89 and 8.9% financing. Even the top-of-the-line Silverado specially priced at $99.99. Yes, Or Chevy beats them all with the selection, price, and financing you want. Or Truck Center, State Line Avenue in Texarkana.
Is this the home of your dreams? Or this? A lovely home with beautiful landscaping and luxurious furnishings? Perhaps you want a home built that will incorporate your own ideas and preferences. That's where we come in. We're McKenzie Wilshire, and we'll build the home for you that you want with precisely the quality features you insist on. Some lots still available on Clear Lake, or see the homes we've constructed on Stone Ridge and in Village West on Kings Highway, across from Peaks Village Foods. Call 838-5536 today.
Okay, Jonathan, we're sending you back in time.
Before television, radio, even before soft drinks. Careful. Anything you do could change history.
Mum's the word.
Activate time travel mode to the year 1885.
He's there.
Hey, where's my Pepsi?
Oh no, he took it.
Relax, Smith. What could 12 ounces of Pepsi possibly change?
Yeah, what could happen?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
In a world of ordinary mowers, top customers look for the extraordinary, which isn't easy to find until you come to Aaron's. Aaron's gives you variable speed control, folding handlebars, more bagging capacity, and more years of service.
Aaron's makes being tough easy.
Aaron's, the easy choice for tough customers.
Available at Hunter Power Saw Company, 4810 West 7th Highway 67, Texarkana.
Next Friday night, Jefferson Bulldogs come to Pleasant Grove. And what about the injuries for next week?
Well, Greg Knapp didn't play this week with a bruised shoulder. Greg is a senior defensive tackle and all-district performer. We missed him. Hopefully he'll be back next week. John Daly, senior offensive end, has a broken finger and is out for a couple more weeks. And junior special teams player Chad Dotson has a knee injury, and we don't know about his situation. Hopefully he'll be back in a week.
Well, the Bulldogs last Friday night were victorious over Queen City 34-0, so that's going to be a pretty big game they're coming off of.
Coach Jerry Bennett's Jefferson Bulldogs are a very fine football team, and they're going to be a factor in their conference. They've moved down to another league, and we're going to have to be ready to improve and play good next week because Jefferson is very explosive offensively.
Well, the Jefferson Bulldogs come to Texarkana to Pleasant Grove next Friday night. Be out there. And remember, watch Pleasant Grove football each and every Sunday and Tuesday night at 7:30 on Channel 2. Join us again next week for Pleasant Grove Hawk football.
Pleasant Grove football has been brought to you by Athletic Supply, Davis Shoes, Luther Bells, Jimmy Cobb Insurance, Texarkana Athletic Club, Regency House, McGuire Sound, Photomation, Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Or Chevrolet, Texarkana Immediate Care, Raffaelli Realty, Hunter Power Saw, American National Bank, White's Glenwood House, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, Hopkins Economart, Teachers Credit Union, Daily Fence Company, Ramblin' Rose Florist, and McKenzie Wilshire Homes Incorporated. Pleasant Grove Football is a production of Dimension Media Services.